Happy holidays and welcome to episode 144 of the Sports Marketing Machine podcast, the podcast that helps sports teams sell more tickets and grow their fan base. My name is Jeremy Neisser. We can all admit the landscape of marketing, especially for sports teams, evolved dramatically in 2025. So many different things to think about and how attention is divided and what we are fighting for when we're trying to sell more tickets. There are 13 key lessons that I have in this episode that you can take and use for 2026. So today's episode, not about trends. It's not about platforms, and it's definitely not about vanity metrics. This episode is all about marketing lessons that actually move money and things for you to be able to think about that will show up in the columns of revenue, renewals, and average order value. My filter for these 13 marketing lessons: could the person in charge of revenue, GM, Chief Revenue Officer, the External Relations Director, if they heard this, they would say, yep, that directly affected ticket sales. That's how the filter I used when I came up with these marketing lessons. So if the answer was no, it did not directly impact ticket sales, it didn't make the cut. So let's get started with our Baker's Dozens marketing lessons from 2025. Let's go. Lesson number 1, buying friction quietly kills impulse sales. So fans, the momentum for them to want to attend games in 2025 continued. They just stopped tolerating effort. And I think I've talked about this numerous times on a few different episodes, but it became very evident in 2025. Here's what actually happens from a fan's perspective with the ads that you're running. They see an ad. It could be a promoted ad on Meta, could be a display ad, could be whatever it is. They click the button that says buy tickets. Then it's a slow loading page. They're forced to create an account. There's an awkward seat map location thingy on mobile. Or they click buy tickets, then they're taken to another page where they have to make another selection even though they made the selection ahead of time. There's too many clicks. They don't complain. They don't email support. Those fans just leave. That ticket sale is gone forever because you made it too complicated. When fans are looking for something to do, you have to make it super simple for them to be able to buy things. So I know there's only so much you can control on the ticketing software side of things, but at the very least, the process to get them to the ticketing software and the page that they land on for the ticketing software, try to limit it to the least amount of clicks that they need. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways. The number one takeaway that I saw this year is that teams were losing fans to other things, competitors, the movies, putt-putt, whatever it is for something for a family to do on a Friday night or a Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. They were losing those fans to friction. The biggest takeaway for you is walk through the process like you are a fan. So if you're running an ad, before you hit go and hit turn it on, walk through the process. How many clicks is it for the fan to be able to get to the finish line, to be able to buy something? Is it less than 5? You have to figure out a way to make it faster. I know you cannot control the clicks on your ticketing software, but you have to make it super simple for them to be able to click the ad, either an email or a social media post or a paid advertising, whatever it is, to get them on over to a process that's super fast and very low friction, right? Time counts. Count the clicks, screenshot any issues, walk through it, right? This is revenue protection on your end, but this is what I noticed. Number one takeaway is that buying friction, how many clicks, it quietly kills your impulse sales, and you had no idea. And how we were able to uncover this is really just taking a look at how many link clicks, how many landing page views, how much traffic are we sending to this page, and how many sales are we getting out the other end. So huge takeaway for you. Buying friction quietly killed impulse sales. Biggest lesson for this one is really just walk through it like you're a fan through that process. Lesson number 2. Revenue exposed bad marketing faster than any metrics that you could see. So revenue exposed bad marketing faster than metrics. So in 2025, revenue stopped being patient. You could have, and I saw this numerous times, strong attendance, marvelous traffic, tremendous engagement, and still make less money. Some teams that I noticed sold out nights on discounts or free nights on promos that looked incredible on social media, but it really destroyed your per cap, and it started to train fans to wait. The question that some team owners, team directors started asking was, well, did the campaign perform? It did, but it didn't really do what we were looking for. We got the ballpark, we got the arena packed, we got everything, right? But it doesn't help us in the future. It really just got people inside of the arena today. Like, we're not necessarily in the business of constantly giving things away and constantly doing discounts, right? Otherwise, like, you're training your fans to think about your product a specific way, and that's not how you wanted to do it. If you're sharing about a campaign or a promotion or even that month does not include the number of buyers, how much revenue, and the average order, you're not really measuring your marketing. You're kind of narrating what happened. So what I noticed is that when you don't make any money, it really exposes bad marketing faster than any metrics that you can share. So number 1, you got to make money. Duh. Like, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but when you're reporting on your metrics to whomever your supervisor is, include the number of buyers, how much revenue, and the average order value. How many tickets? What did they buy? How much money did they give you? When you're measuring it this way, you kind of have a really good understanding of the impact of your marketing. Lesson number 3, timing matters more than messaging. Timing matters more than messaging. This year in 2025, when you showed up when it mattered more than what you said. So when you showed up mattered more than what you said. Highest converting moments were 72 to 24 hours before a game. They see an ad a day or two before the game and it says, hey, game this Friday. Fireworks or giveaway or whatever it is, or they see the ad in the morning of the game, that's when fans are buying tickets, right? Teams with average creative but perfect timing beat teams with beautiful, marvelous creative that was sent too early or even too late. Like, as a dad to 2 little girls, a family of 4 in our house, like, we don't plan 3 weeks in advance. We plan Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for that Friday, and even some cases the day before or the day of. Like, that's how families are planning. So if your target audience is families that you're trying to promote, you have to put yourself in their shoes. When I think about this even more, fans weren't saying, hey, I didn't like your ad. I didn't convert because I didn't like your ad. They were saying, hey, I forgot, or I simply didn't realize it was this week. So build campaigns around decision windows, not your content calendars. When do fans make decisions? When do they typically buy tickets? Use that as your ability to really dig into when you're starting ads, when you're peaking your ads, and when they're displaying, when you're sending out email campaigns, some of those things, thinking through that a little bit more, not necessarily your content calendars. Lesson number 4, clarity will always beat cleverness. When you confuse people, you will lose them. This is one of the most expensive mistakes teams made this year. Fans don't want clever. They're okay every now and then with cute, but if you're asking them to buy something, it's got to be very clear what you are asking them to do. Too many promotions, too much information, overloading them with too much stuff. It's fatigue. They can't make decisions. So when you're confusing them with 98 things in an email and it's got sponsor information, it's got so much stuff, they don't know what to do. And I saw this time and time again. Too many promotions failed because fans couldn't quickly answer, what is this? Is it for me? How much is it? And what do I do next? If a fan had to reread the message that you sent them, they had to reread it, you lost them. So if you include family fun night, sure, that sounds okay. But if you did 4 hot dogs, 4 tickets, 4 sodas, $60 this Friday, that is a very clear message. There's a whole thing about personalization I'll get to in lesson 5, but 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, $60 this Friday. Like, the message is pretty straightforward, pretty clear. If a fan can't understand the offer in 5 seconds, it won't convert. Simple as that. Clarity will always beat cleverness. And I alluded to it. Here's lesson number 5. Personalization continues to become the difference maker in what gets ignored and what gets purchased. Personalization didn't mean some fancy tech in 2025. It meant relevance. A family that attended fireworks last season doesn't need, hey, check out our upcoming games. If you know that they're a family, they're going to want communication around family packages. They need fireworks are back this Friday. Family 4-packs are available, right? Same thing. If I am looking out for a night on to town and I fall into that bucket because I come out to Thirsty Thursdays, like, that's the message. That's the communication that I need to receive. So personalization will continue to be a tremendous differentiator for you in 2026 if you lean into it. Because if you think about how you shop, how you are buying things, you're thinking about things from your perspective. If someone always came up to you and thought about your perspective, the things that you are interested in, and put that in their creative in the copy, you're more than likely going to be buying that versus things that you just want to tune out. We have so much stuff bombarding us all day long from an advertising perspective that if you are clear and crystal clear and you're speaking to a specific person, a specific avatar, based on maybe their information that they've given you, maybe the data that you have about them, or what games that they've purchased for, you're going to get a different result. So the teams that segmented by past attendance, buyer behavior, game type, saw higher open rates, higher conversion, and more revenue. So my plea to you this year is be thinking about personalization a whole lot more. And I'm not just saying in your email blast that you send out, hey, I'm going to personalize it by put dear first name and put the personalization tag. Like, legitimately take it 2 steps down into the rabbit hole here of, what are some things that I can see that this person's interested in? How do I categorize and organize my fan bases in different buckets so that I can better give them offers that they are more likely to purchase? So if your message could be sent to everyone, it should not be. Lesson number 6, owned channels became the safest revenue engine. No doubt about it. I think one of the first episodes I ever created for this podcast was all about building your email list and owning your database and growing that. Paid media got louder and less predictable. There were so many changes on Meta and display and TikTok ads and all these different places where you could spend your marketing dollars. The one thing that you can control is the list that you own, the own list. So your email list, your SMS text messages, any fans that are in your CRM based on follow-ups and what have you, right? Teams with clean, segmented databases that are focusing on growing them one way, form, or fashion, making that first-party data, yours, you typically will spend less because they weren't guessing who to talk to. They had an audience, a captive audience of people to speak to. So if you're thinking about 2026 and some goals, I would highly take a look at your database and see how many fans are on that, and think about ways that allocating marketing dollars or emphasis on building out your email list and text messages during the season and the off season, because it's going to help you make more money. It becomes a snowball. If you have 20,000 people on your email list and you're sending out a message to them that's personalized to them, you're going to create momentum to sell more tickets for your season. So your database isn't a marketing asset. It is a revenue asset. Huge takeaway for teams. And if you don't take anything away from this entire podcast episode, numero uno, top of the list, you have to continue to grow your email database. If you do texting, grow your texting database. Lesson number 7, creative became the new targeting. Targeting options that you probably noticed inside of Meta and other places are shrinking. You can't target the local team, your competitors' fans anymore. I used to be able to do that when I was with the Stockton Ports. I used to say, hey, I'm going to target the Stockton Kings or the Stockton Heat hockey team and target their fans about my opening night and see if I can sell tickets. You don't do that anymore. You can't, right? Your messaging has to do the sorting for you. So your creative and your messaging, all of that in one bucket here. Kids running the bases, that'll definitely land with families. Meta's smart enough to look at the image and say, hey, I'm going to show this in front of people that are just like these folks. Beer gardens found young professionals. Even though you can do a little bit of targeting in there, let Meta and some of these other platforms do the work to go out and find the people to sell the tickets to. You can give it some guardrails here. Hey, I just want to sell it between 21 to 45 or 52 or whatever it is, right? But your creative has the imagery of the people that you really want. That's the new targeting, because Meta and some of these other platforms can use that information. They see the image, they know exactly what it is, and can get it in front of other people. Teams that realized that they didn't have a targeting problem, they had a relevance problem, really skyrocketed their ticket sales. So, big takeaway for you is make different ads for different buyers. It doesn't look the same, because a person who comes out on a Thursday for your dollar beer night is completely different who brings their family out on Sunday for their kids to run the bases. I'm using baseball as the analogy here. Same thing for hockey too. Not all fans are diehard hockey fans that go to your games. Some of them are just looking for something fun to do. So stop trying to message to everyone. Start messaging to specific people. Lesson number 8. Familiarity sold faster than novelty. The best performing offers in 2025 weren't very exciting. They were familiar. Fans bought the same fireworks nights, the same value packs, the same promotions that they already understood, because clarity always sells. Familiarity also creates confidence. Confidence creates conversions and connection. So I'm going to say that again. Familiarity creates confidence. If your fan has already seen, hey, these guys create these value packs, I constantly see them, I understand what they are, the clarity around them, I get it. You buy a ticket, you get a hot dog, chip, and a drink, whatever it is, right? Whatever that is, right? So when they understand what you've got going on, they will have confidence in it. This is something that they're doing. They do often. They don't do one time here or one time there, right? They do this all the time. So familiarity, fans are accustomed to seeing things like this. That sells faster than novelty. Now, there's one caveat here, and I said it in a couple episodes ago about these mystery packs. That is a novelty thing, and it took off like a rocket. If you choose to do it this year, marvelous. But that's a one-off thing, and I'll put a link in the show notes for you to be able to take a listen to that episode. But for the most part, familiarity will sell faster than novelty. Lesson number 9, bundles will beat discounts. And this is comes from my Black Friday episode. I'll put a link in the show notes about this one. Straight discounts train fans to wait. Also, straight discounts confuse fans. Hey, it's 30% off. 30% off of what? Like, I don't want to have to do math, right? Bundles gave them a reason to act. So instead of saying, hey, 20% off tickets, teams that put things in there like, we got tickets and parking together, here's the package, here's the price. Or tickets plus merch, or tickets plus a food credit. Like, when you do these bundles, they move faster than asking fans to do math. Fans felt like they were getting more, not just paying less, because they understood what they were getting and they didn't have to do mental math, right? So you add value before you start cutting price. So that is lesson number 9. On to lesson number 10, single game buyers continue to be a growth engine, but oftentimes it's not the emphasis for teams. If you look at your marketing budget as a whole, sports teams as a whole are not very good at converting past ticket buyers. They're really good about going out and finding new ticket buyers. If I'm in your shoes as a marketing director for your team, I'm thinking about how do I try my best to get past single game buyers to come back out this upcoming season, right? That is a huge thing for you to be thinking through and what you're doing to get them to come back. It is a whole lot cheaper to sell to people who came out last year to come out to your games this year than it is to go out and find new ticket buyers. I can show you data of acquisition cost of finding buyers and then what their lifetime value is versus someone that you're going to spend to get to come back out this year. There's got to be an emphasis on getting single game buyers who came out last year to come out this year, and not just sending out email blasts. You got to be able to personalize the message to them, because the more personalization, the more that you're training them to understand what's actually happening and getting them excited, the better. So even doing some of your own paid media to them and putting them in their own bucket, and then new ticket buyers target in a different bucket, like, do that, because you're going to find it's a whole lot cheaper to get past ticket buyers to convert than it is to find new ticket buyers. I know it's easier to get new ticket buyers, 100%, but the past ticket buyers, it's going to be cheaper for you. Lesson number 11, promotions train fan behavior. Fans learn quickly. Too many free nights, they wait. And I saw this a lot, specifically in the summer collegiate baseball. They'll do a lot of buyout nights where the sponsor is spending $3,000 or $5,000 to sponsor out the entire ballpark, and everyone gets in for free. What that happens is that fans see this and say, well, I'm just going to wait for their buyout nights or their sponsored nights to go to the game because it's free. They wait. Fans will wait. You guys offer too many discounts. Fans will hesitate here, right? Short-term wins for you as a team create long-term pricing problems. So every discount needs a full price re-entry path later. So if you're going to do these buyout nights, limit it to only 2 for the entire year, depending on how many games that you have. Too many of those, you're going to train your fans that they're never going to pay full price. Lesson number 12. Remember, we've got 13 total lessons here. Feel free to go back and take a listen to all of these as you go through and take notes. If you got questions of these, don't hesitate to reach out. Shoot me an email, sportsmarketingmachine.com, and happy to chat through these with you. I'm here to help you sell more tickets and grow your fan base. Lesson number 12, retention quietly became cheaper than acquisition. Selling again was easier than selling new. I just mentioned this, but I want to reiterate this specifically on the group sales side as well, right? When you are going after groups, getting them to come back out the next year, obviously you're calling them, trying to get them come back out, but have you thought about running paid ads to those folks that came out 2-3 years ago and see if you could get them to come back out? Because if there were on average a $500 group sale and you've got maybe 600 to 1,000 groups from the last few years that didn't come back out, and you're running ads and you convert those, like, you're going to make more money. The second piece of this retention bucket here that becomes cheaper than acquisition is that when you get a single game buyer that comes out to your games this season or this upcoming season, you got to implement a way to be able to get them to come back out to game 2. And that could be a post-game email or something that's specific to them to get them to come back out to another game. If you can get them to come back out to game 2 or 3 or 4 during the year, it's going to be so much easier for you to sell more ticket plans, maybe even season tickets and what have you. So retention from a group sales perspective and retention from a single game buyer perspective of what you could do to get them to come back out this year. And finally, lesson number 13. Marketing became a revenue system, not a department. This is like a mind blow for a lot of teams because they think about marketing as oftentimes it's creating pretty flyers and posting on social media, but marketing is a revenue system, not just a department. Teams that won didn't just run better ads. They aligned their sales department with their marketing department. If they have data department, they aligned it with their marketing and sales department and their ticket team. All of those are rowing in the same direction. Everyone's working together. They're having weekly meetings talking about what marketing's doing to promote specific themes that will help group sales, that will help ticket plans, that will help the ticket ops department. They're all working together of how they're communicating to fans to get them to come back out, how they're educating fans on what to expect to come to the game, and then working on fans to come back out to multiple games from a customer service perspective, what that all looks like. So marketing, ticket sales, your data, and your ticket group sales folks, everyone's pulling on the same line and they're all working on the same page. The marketing and staffs, the staffs in general that work like this, where everyone's on the same page, working together, are the ones that just blow numbers out of the water because everyone is pulling in the same direction and everyone knows what everyone else is doing. So sales shares objections, marketing adjusts their messaging, data is tracking what's converting. There is no silos. There is no guessing. Revenue becomes predictable when the right hand is telling the left hand what's working, what isn't. So I'm going to say this again. If the sales and marketing team aren't sitting down and having conversations, sales is sharing objections that they're getting from fans that they're calling about their 5-game plan or whatever it is. Marketing is adjusting the messaging and adjusting the details on the landing page to be able to buy the ticket plan. If they're not talking to each other, they're running different races. They're running in different directions. They're together, not siloed. There is no guessing. Revenue becomes predictable because everyone is working together towards one goal, one revenue conversation. So lesson 13, in my mind, is really one of the biggest ones when you talk collectively as your staff. If everyone understands what you're working on and having deep conversations about what the salespeople are hearing on the phones. What are you seeing from a data perspective? What are you seeing from the ad creative and clicks and what's taking place? Like when everyone is working on the same page, you are going to sell more tickets, hands down, full stop. Everyone, marketing is not a flyer creator, email sender, social media posting. It's a revenue system. It's a revenue department, just like ticket sales is, just like the ticket office is. It's all in the same. They're all generating revenue. All right, main lessons from this year that I really want to shout a little louder to you. Marketing didn't get harder. It actually got more precise. Teams that won didn't scream and yell and dump even more money. They reduced friction. They worked together as a team collectively to look at the information and cohesively and collaboratively work together to market and promote specific things. They created packages and bundles that fans got excited about, and they spoke clearly about what they are. They weren't using ambiguity. They were very clear in their messaging, because when you confuse, you lose people. They showed up at the right moment with the right offer, and they talked to the right fans through personalization. if you take one thing from this episode, well, actually two things from this episode, always be growing your email list and your text message list. Always be focusing on that. Allocate marketing dollars to it. Always have goals during the year to grow your email marketing list. Number two, fans don't need more options. They don't need more options. They need help choosing what option makes the most sense for them. And if you understand your buyers and your messaging is right and you're hitting them at the right time, this is like shooting fish in a barrel when you put all of these pieces together. So if this episode sparked an idea or exposed something that maybe you need to fix, you've got some questions, feel free to shoot me a message on LinkedIn or on sportsmarketingmachine.com. I love to hear what you're changing, what challenges that you're working through, and if any of these Baker's Dozen 13 that I just shared with you resonate. And also, if this episode was useful, share it with someone on your sales team or your marketing, because alignment still sells more tickets than any campaign ever will. I hope you have a great new year. Next week, I'm going to come out with 2 episodes. I'm going to rehash my 2025 marketing predictions and then share my 2026 marketing predictions in another episode next week as well. So super excited about what 2026 shares for you. Just get out there, keep marketing, keep talking to your team, keep working together, keep thinking through how do we make this easier? How do we help fans choose and make it super simple for them to be able to do business with us? Until next time.